Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Heal You. I'm your host, Shai, and I'm so glad you're here. Each week, we dive into conversations that empower us to grow, heal, and step into the best versions of ourselves. Last week, we explored how to root ourselves in love and grow in strength by embracing vulnerability. Vulnerability isn't always easy, but it's the foundation for authentic growth. So before we jump into today's episode, I want you to think about a recent milestone you've achieved, big or small. How did it feel to recognize your progress? Did you take a moment to truly celebrate it? Or were you like, it's no big deal? If so, we've got some work to do today. And hey, no judgment, because guess what? We've all been there. So pull out your notebooks, get your journals, get your pen. Let's get focused and let's dive into it. This week, we're shifting our focus to celebrating progress. Yeah, you heard me. Celebrating Y-O-U. You. Growth isn't always about reaching the mountaintop. Sometimes it's about appreciating every step you've taken on the journey. By the end of this episode, I hope you'll feel inspired to pause, reflect, and honor your efforts, because every step truly does matter. Let's start with a fundamental question. Why is it so important to celebrate success? Well, celebrating your wins, no matter how small, reinforces the belief that your efforts are worthwhile. When you acknowledge your progress, you create a cycle of positive reinforcement that motivates you to keep going. It's like you're fueling your inner engine for the next leg of the journey. I like to think about when we mentally celebrate ourselves and the small or big wins, we're giving ourselves a moment to mentally relax, to take a short break, to acknowledge where we are, to pause and say, great job. And when we do so, we give ourselves the strength to move a little further. Think of it this way. Imagine you're climbing a steep hill. If you don't pause to look back and see how far you've come, the climb might feel endless. But when you do take that moment, you're reminded of your strength, resilience, and determination. By pausing and taking a moment to look back, you're reminded of your strength, resilience, and determination. And let's be real. Sometimes looking back makes you laugh. Like, wow, I really thought that tiny bump was the hardest thing ever. Ooh, perspective is everything, right? Celebrating progress isn't just a feel-good activity. It truly does have real psychological benefits. Just like I said, your mental. When you take time to honor your achievements, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. Taking a moment to pause and celebrate what you've accomplished, you're releasing dopamine. This creates a sense of accomplishment and happiness. And then over time, This practice rewires your brain to associate effort with reward, making it easier and easier to stay consistent in your journey. It's like giving your brain mental exercise and reminding yourself that along the way, by pausing and taking a break, you're giving yourself a mental boost. And let's be honest, life be lifing. We all face setbacks and challenges. So when we commit to giving ourselves permission to celebrate, we're counteracting the negativity that often tries to take over. I'm going to repeat this. By giving ourselves permission to celebrate, we're counteracting the negativity that often tries to take over. We're giving fear the finger. Acknowledging your wins is a powerful act of self-love and self-respect. Plus, let's face it, who doesn't love an excuse to treat themselves? And every time we celebrate doesn't have to be extravagant. It could be as simple as giving yourself a no computer day, allowing your brain to just relax, allowing your brain to do nothing. I love those days. And usually on those days, I don't do anything that requires me to think. I love Ratchet TV on those days because then I'm just focused on what I need to focus on. Or maybe it's an extra scoop of ice cream or a cheesy dance party in your living room, if that's what excites you. Now let's talk about what these wins can look like. Maybe you've been working on prioritizing self-care, and this week you finally took that yoga class you've been putting off. Or perhaps you set a boundary with someone and stuck to it. Maybe you're just proud of getting out of bed and showing up. I've had many of those days, despite how hard it felt. And if that's the case, I see you, friend. And I'm giving you a virtual high five and hug right now. Big or small, remember, every step matters. Don't compare your progress to someone else's because we're all on a different journey. Your journey is yours alone, and your wins are truly worth celebrating. And if you need an extra laugh, remember that time you tried to bake bread during the pandemic and ended up with a loaf that could double as a doorstop? Hey, you tried. I don't know who did that, but that's considered a win too. So how do we make celebrating progress a habit? Let's start by building small rituals into your routine. For example, at the end of each day, or maybe each week, write down one thing you accomplished, even if it's as simple as drinking enough water or finishing a task at work. We all know how hard it is to drink all that water they tell us we need on a regular basis. And when you write down that accomplishment, get you a jar with the lid on it and put it in that jar. And then at the end of that goal, that once you accomplish it, sit down and read everything that you did along the way. You'll be surprised how you make yourself laugh and smile at all you've achieved. Another idea is to set aside time each week to reflect on what went well. I do this on a normal basis when I'm driving, when I'm kind of decompressing and thinking about my day and what I was able to accomplish. And again, that celebration jar comes up where you write down your wins on slips of small paper. And even if you need a boost in the midst of working through your task, instead of waiting to the end of accomplishing the goal, when you need that mental boost, pull one out and remind yourself of how far you've come. And yes, feel free to decorate your jar. Go full craft mode if you want. Glitter, stickers, the whole shebang. Because why not? It's all about you. You know, journaling is one of my favorite tools for celebrating growth. Here's why. Insert. Go ahead and get your Bloom journal at creativelyshy.com. When you write about your experiences, you're not only documenting your journey, but also creating a space to reflect and appreciate your efforts. When you're journaling, start by asking yourself questions like, what am I proud of this week? What challenges did I overcome? How am I feeling about my progress? That's your opportunity to be totally honest with yourself. Your journal is yours, and you'll be surprised at how much documentation will make you feel so good when you look back at it over the years. Your journal becomes a tangible reminder of your growth. And trust me, friends, there's nothing more empowering than flipping through those pages and seeing how far you've come. And if you're like me, you might find some of your old entries hilarious. It's just like Facebook. When you look at the memories and you're like, why did I write that? Why did I post that? But journaling reminds you, and you might even say things like, I can't believe I was so stressed about that presentation, when essentially I crushed it. We've all been there. And let's address something that many of us struggle with: the tendency to downplay our achievements. Maybe you've caught yourself saying, it's not that big of a deal, or anyone could do this. But here's the truth, friends. Your efforts matter. It is that big of a deal. You accomplished it. Yeah, anyone could do it, but you're not just anyone. Recognizing your wins doesn't make you boastful. It makes you human. Celebrate what makes you unique and resilient, because more than anything, you've earned it. And if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, just smile and say, watch me. Sometimes the best response is confidence with the sprinkle of sass. Perfectionism can be a roadblock to celebrating progress. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect before you give yourself credit, you might be waiting forever. We're humans. We are not perfect beings. Instead, focus on the progress. Focus on the little steps. Focus on the small wins. Celebrate the fact that you're showing up and trying. Every day you show up and try. Celebrate you, even if things aren't perfect. Progress, not perfection, is what leads to transformation. And transforming ourselves is essentially the concept of Bloom. And hey, perfection is overrated. Have you ever seen a perfectly frosted cake? Sure, it looks great, but it's the messy ones that taste better because someone poured their heart into it. I'm okay with being a messy cake sometimes. And if you look at my life and see all of the things that I've been through, I'm definitely a messy cake with sprinkles on top. So let me share a quick story about someone who embraced this mindset. A friend of mine started a fitness journey last year. At first, they struggled to even make it to the gym once a week. Constantly late, not motivated, didn't want to go. But instead of beating themselves up, they celebrated each visit, every accomplishment, every step of the process, remember? Over time, those small wins added up. And now they're not just stronger physically, but also mentally. It's easier to get up and go to the gym now. It's easier to get through those workouts. And even on the days where they don't feel like doing the workouts, they have incorporated into their mindset that celebrating the small wins is what helps them get through each and every day. And their story is proof that consistent progress leads to transformation. And if I had to think about it, it's my story as well. Each time I motivate myself to get up and go to the gym and work out, I see progress in what I want to ultimately achieve. And hey, if you are still at the putting on gym clothes and sitting on the couch stage, that's progress too. Baby steps count as well. All right, friends. As we wrap up today's session, or today's episode, I want to leave you with this. Every step you take matters. Whether it's a giant leap or a tiny shuffle forward, it all counts. So this week, I challenge you to celebrate a recent win. It could be as simple as saying, I'm proud of myself. I got out of bed this morning. I smiled today. I ate today. I took a shower today. I didn't have any negative talk today. I wrote in my journal today. I made it to the gym today. I thought happy thoughts all day. Regardless of how simple it is big for each of us. And for some of us, it's even bigger because it takes a lot to do even the simple things. And we all deserve it. We all deserve to celebrate the small wins each and every step of the way. All right. Next week, we'll be diving into forgiveness and how it creates space for growth. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until then, take care of yourself and keep celebrating your journey. You're doing amazing, friends, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you for listening to Heal You. At Creatively Shy, we're here to inspire self-care, self-love, and healing by sharing real-life lessons and tools to help you pursue your dreams. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Creatively Shy, SHAI, for more positivity and updates. Want to support the show? Subscribe and click the support link at the bottom of this podcast to help us keep bringing you empowering content. And remember, your healing starts here. See you next time.